I was visiting Turkey, yeah.
Okay. Yes. So you're welcome every time in Greece. You're welcomed.
Yes, yes, yes. Now that Chris is my partner, yes. One of these days we will come together, you know.
Yes, yes. Now we are in a general lockdown, the second lockdown.
Right, right.
It's worse than the first one because we have many deaths every day, and it's expected to last until March here.
Oh my God, that's a long time.
Yes, it's terrible.
We just came out of our second lockdown about 2 weeks ago.
We have escaped. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now we don't have any lockdown because there is no cases of COVID virus for the last 32 days. So now all the state borders are opening and things like that, and life is slowly becoming to normal.
What about schools? Schools are open there, universities?
Well, our schools are open, and but they will be closing just before Christmas for the summer holidays, and then they will come back in end of January.
Mm-hmm.
For another 2 weeks maybe, and then they will close for summer holidays, Christmas holidays, and then they come back on the end of January next year.
Yes, but I think that the universities have started on an online learning. I think that this will last long.
Yeah.
It's more comfortably hybrid learning, online learning for universities at least.
Yeah. Most universities are operating on that basis. Schools were operating till very recently on online basis, even for primary schools.
Mm-hmm. I have some friends, academicians, who tell me that conferences will be held on online basis in the future.
I don't know. It may or may not happen.
Internationally, this is the plan.
Yeah, the thing is that once this COVID virus dangers are eliminated, then maybe people will travel again to conferences, because face-to-face contact makes a lot of difference, you see, and you make friends, and you build networks and things like that.
Yes, but online has been proved more comfortable and convenient for universities. It's
for universities it is like that. Yeah, exactly.
We will see.
The world is going to change.
Chris, are you here?
Yes. Sasaku, yes. Hello.
What time is there?
Well, it's for Greeks, it's early. It's 9 p.m. It's not even dinner time.
For Greek, it's fine. For Australia, what time is it?
Yeah, 9 o'clock. It's time for winding down with the family. Yeah.
Okay.
How are you?
988 172 8659 9. दूसरा नंबर चाहिए दूसरा नंबर रवि मिश्रा.
How are you, Rania? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was at the ministry and I took a taxi and I came here.
Yes, sir.
7100.
Yes, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you.
Shahid, how are you?
Good.
9771002303.
Did you have a conference delay a few days ago when you gave your talk?
Almost every day I have, I'm invited to conferences. Two lectures every day.
बिल्कुल ठीक. वेरी गुड. जगह फुल हो गई इसी बहाने.
Headset.
Hello. Yes, Vijendra sir. We are able to listen.
Second.
अच्छा अगले दिन था
Good afternoon, all of you.
2-4 का 4-8 का रेडी हो गए
Yeah.
जो उसका टाइम हो गया
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Ripu sir, you are audible. Hello, okay, sir.
Welcome, Dr. Please.
एक मिनट से
Dr. Please, welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, Professor. Good to see you, Professor.
Welcome.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Yamin sir.
Dr. Fahid Yamin, welcome.
Good afternoon
Thank
to
you.
all of you, sir. Good afternoon to all
Dr.
of you.
Rana, welcome. Okay. Professor Dr. K.S. Cherar, sir, good morning and good afternoon.
हाँ वो ऐसे हैं ये ऐसे हैं
Sir,
3 फुट हाइट है और इधर 5 फुट इधर 2 फुट हाइट है ये कौन से वाला है
Dr. Ashish,
हाँ नहीं ये 5 फुट हाइट है
shall we start, sir?
हाँ
Yes, sir. Vijendra sir, we can start.
over to Dr. Vijendra Babu.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
4
Thank
भाई
you.
ऐसा 8 चौड़ा
Thank you, sir.
2 ऐसा 4 चौड़ा ठीक है
Further, it is
ये
the position of Dr. K.S. Cherar.
हाइट वाला है
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, good afternoon
Apple
to
sorry.
all the one and all learned members for this 4th Asia Africa Development Summit 2020, United Nations SDG 2030 Partnership for Goals, which is scheduled on today and tomorrow. A wonderful opportunity for an international delegates getting connected. I take this opportunity wholeheartedly on behalf of Asia Africa Development Council for Sustainable Development to invite all of you for this excellent opportunity. I welcome all to this event. I hand over this session to Dr. Charak sir for his inaugural speech. Dr. Charak sir, good afternoon, sir. I think Dr. Charak sir will be joining, I think so. I request Dr. Ashish Chandraswamy sir to kickstart.
We can't hear you.
Dr. Ashish sir, kindly unmute, sir.
Kindly unmute Dr.
Yes, sir.
Ashish.
Sure, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Vijendra Babu sir, for providing me this opportunity on this annual event of Asia Africa Development Council, that is 4th Asia Africa Development Summit 2020 on the UNSDG 2030 Partnership for Goals. Basically, Asia Africa Development Council is managed by Council for Sustainable Peace and Development. At Council for Sustainable Peace and Development, Council for Sustainable Peace and Development is managed by is an international organization for providing the sustainable development across the globe. Basically, the vision of Council for Sustainable Peace and Development is to provide innovation, sustainable development, and peace across the globe. Council was established for the establishment of peace and sustainable across the globe. The council is shall primarily works for the bringing about the peace, sustainable development for the humanity through ICT. Information communication technology, as we all know, today plays an important role in all our daily life. So just to promote these kind of peace activities across the globe, council is working at the global level. Council is licensed by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India, to work for the betterment of human society. We urge the global society to perform the action towards the achievement of innovation, sustainable development, and peace for the betterment of our future generations. Sustainable development is the key for sustaining the peace and vice versa. Sustaining peace, a concept endorsed by the United Nations General Assembly and Security Council, focus on the importance of having long-term comprehensive vision in all responses as to violent conflict and to end the viscous cycle of the laissez and repress. Many countries in complex situations have embraced the Sustainable Development Goals as the part of solution. The United Nations High Level Political Forum, the global performance of SDG, follow up the and review. At the same time, there are many other activities and actions that Council is working on through its various projects. So, because as Council is working on various sustainable projects for promoting different kind of activities, the Council, one of the project of Council is the Ayushman Bhava project that Council is promoting through healthy body and healthy soul. The basic motto of this project is to provide uh, the the prayer that is known as the Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kadaschit Khago Bhava Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This this hymns means that oh, may bless all become happy, may all body, heavenly body becomes the healthy, free from illness, both from physical and mental illness. May all see us what is auspicious in us. May no one suffer in any way. Om, peace, peace, peace. Following this mantra, the council is promoting the Ayushman Bhava project for the healthy body and fit human being. To promote the another activity, Council is promoting the healthy body with fitness. It has managed it with the fitness through its project of International Association of Sports and ICT by providing the physical fitness to the all the human beings and uniting world through sports. ICT plays an important role nowadays in providing all these kind of activities where human beings are connected through various activities of sports and the peace building activities across the globe. Council is also providing the sustainable development through various actions and providing the various award for the sustainable development and activities in categories of innovation, peace, and other delegate activities. Thus, the council is providing various platforms for managing different kind of activities. This is the brief introduction about the council and the activities of the council, how the council is providing the and bringing together the world together and provide a platform so that the world may become a better place for our future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish Chandra Swami sir, for explaining about the council activities in a very brief manner and for a very descriptive manner. And thanks for your wonderful explanation. It gives a glimpse about the council activities. Now, I hand over this session to Dr. Ripu Ranjan Sinha sir for his inaugural address. Welcome, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Vijendra Babu. Vijendra Babu and I think Professor Charak are not there, but one Corinthians.
Yeah, fine, sir.
Good evening, morning and afternoon to all of you. On behalf of Asia Africa Development Council, 4th Asia Africa Development Summit, I like to thank to our honorable chief guest. He is going to join shortly. Council member, secretariats of the Associate Institutes, other dignitaries, invitees, and ladies and gentlemen. I extend a warm welcome to all of you to the 4th Annual Asia Africa Development Summit 2020. In behalf of Majesty Nadia Narhari, who is the chief guest of this event, who has kindly accepted our invitation to inaugurate this Asia Africa Development Summit 2020 under the aegis of Council for Sustainable Peace and Development and Innovation Society of India. I, Professor Ripu Ranjan Sinha, and promoter of global innovation, peace, and sustainable development. Development Consultant of Republic of South Sudan, Pro Vice Chancellor, Commonwealth Vocational University Kingdom of Tonga, and a citizen of India from Pink City, Jaipur, Rajasthan. I like to welcome Her Majesty Nadia Nahari in absentia. Mother Nadia is a king heart and always ready to support women and humanity. Mother Nadia serves as the board of the most influential institution in the world, like the ADN, the First Lady Club, and others. Mother Nadia is a deeply passionate about the need to empower children and young adults who are obviously from the future of the every nation. Mother Nadia is a forceful champion for the human rights and an advocate for the inclusiveness of the women and young people all around the world. Mother Nadia is the experienced and successful entrepreneur, social inventor, and friend of Africa. She is the chair of a World Business Leaders Conference. Her Majesty, you are the global leader and constantly supporting mission to eradicate global problems and providing roadmap to solve its effectively. We are promoter of innovation, peace, and sustainable development, and working in support mission of UN SDG 2030 and other development growth index worldwide. Through this event, we are promoting the mission of United Nations and supporting his visions come true for the betterment of the human and humanity. We believe that nature is a perfect and free gift for all, and only nature is gold, real gold and God. Sky, air, sun, energy, water, and earth. Without it, we cannot imagine of existence. But without lust, greed, and selflessness, we created deprived society and created lots of social problems. What we are facing today and will face tomorrow. This is the right time when COVID-19 teaches us be the best among the rest under the lap of nature, then your all problems will be cured. As informative in nature, in September, the United Nations General Assembly is set to adopt the Sustainable Development Goals, a highly anticipated event in the global development. The Open Working Group has been crafting a comprehensive package of the goals and targets that can be derived and drive global effort towards a sustainable and poverty-free world by 2020. However, the schemes to be adopted sustainable development goals are likely to fail unless far more attention is given to addressing governance challenge crucial to their implementation. In the broadest sense, governments refer to how society make decisions and take actions. It is about the mechanism we use to work together in a society to solve shared problems. For the Sustainable Development Goals, this involves considering how government, business, non-government organizations, civil society, and researchers will work together. Governance fundamentally underpins our ability to get things done in society. Yet there is numerous failures in a governance everywhere. We as a society, big safeguard in the global financial system, cop against elected national government, the multi-decadal struggle to the tech global action to manage greenhouse gas emission and climate change. We need to address key challenges that urgently. That's why we are today discussing these things. First, and very important thing is that the challenge we have to is criteria. That is how we can bring together the right stakeholder at the right time and the right place. Sustainable development inherently involves many indifferent stakeholders operating at many different scales, from the national government to the transitional corporation, to local and international NGO, to small village and many more. It can be tough to get the relevant stakeholder working together at the right time and place to solve complex poverty and sustainable problems. For example, consider a single goal of access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. That is a goal saver, who will need to be involved in developing, producing, installing, and maintaining the technology to worldwide and to provide universally accessible energy. Who is involved in determining what is reliable and affordable for the different community in different parts of the world? How do government, the private sector, and community interact in the deciding on the appropriate and sustainable agency system? And how does this differ in different contexts? Just consider the difference between China and United States, or between countries across the Africa. Those sort of coordinations challenge exist not only for the energy, but also for addressing poverty, food, health, education, water, biodiversity, and the many other issues within the Sustainable Development Goals. But they are central to having the right stakeholders working together at the right time and place. Second very important thing is that how to make difficult trade-offs. There have been many co-benefits among the Sustainable Development Goals, where addressing one goal helps address other at the same time. For example, addressing climate change will have co-benefit for the energy, security, health, biodiversity, and ocean. However, the Sustainable Development Goals will also involve trade-offs. It is crucial to recognize the difficult choice will also need to be made that may involve winners and losers, at least in the short term. For example, biodiversity could be treated if forests are cut down to expand the agriculture production for the food security. Food security could be treated if food crops are switched to biofuel production for the energy society and security. Water security could be treated by the decision to intensify or expand agriculture or to build hydropower for the energy security and greenhouse gas mitigation. Competing interests, climate change, that is a widely issue by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 13, is a classic example. Those affected in the short term, such as fossil fuel companies and their workers, will perceive themselves as a loser if they are forced to change. Even though society as a whole, we will be the winner in the long term by avoiding the tremendous risk and impact of runaway climate change. Making difficult trade-off can be a major governance weakness, especially for the complex problems within the Sustainable Development Goals, where responsibility is depressed and the interests of the different stakeholders can conflict. Achieving the Sustainable Development Goals will require national governments, the private sector, the non-profit sectors, communities to make difficult decisions based on the thought goals and genuine commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals. Unless there is a strong willingness to show Sustainable Development Goals, this briefing relates to the two hard parts. And third very important thing is that how do we build an accountability for action? What action is going on inside and outside of the world for the betterment of the humanity? A final key challenge is ensuring responsibility and accountability. It is a very big challenge for the Sustainable Development Goals. For the progress towards meeting the Sustainable Development Goals, mechanisms to do this need to link across local, national, and international. So, in this context, Council for Sustainable Peace and Development, a trademark managed by Asia Africa Development Council, revitalized the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development. And we are celebrating it on 1st December 2020 today at the 4th Annual Asia Africa Development Summit 2020. We conducted last from the with a very high, strong delegates across the Africa in the New Delhi, then Mumbai, then Jaipur, and again that is due to COVID. Today we are conducting through the virtual network with a very high prestige platform that is the Sustainable Development Goals can only be revitalized with the strong commitment to the global partnership. That is the theme of today, and cooperation with official development assistance from the developed country increased by 66% between 2020 to 2014. Humanitarian crises brought on by conflict or natural disasters continue to demand financial resources and aid. Many countries also require official development assistance to increase growth and trade. On behalf of the Asia Africa Development Council, we are just felicitating and supporting United Nations to achieve Inhabitation Sustainable Agenda effectively. The world today is more interconnected than ever before. Improving access to technology and knowledge is an important way to share ideas and foster innovation. Coordinating policy to help developing countries manage their debt as well as promoting investment for the least developed nations like the South Sudan. We are also developing consultant of Republic to South Sudan. It's vital to achieve sustainable growth and development. The goals aim to enhance North-South and South-South cooperation by supporting nation plan to achieve all the targets laid down by United Nations Sustainable Development Agenda, promoting international trade and helping developing countries increase their export is all part of achieving a universal rule-based and equitable trading system that is fair and open and benefit all way. Council running project, namely India-Africa Knowledge Consortium, that is a www.indiaafrica.org. In finance sector, strengthen domestic resource mobilization, including through international support to developing countries to improve domestic capacity for the tax and other revenue collection. Developed countries to implement fully their official development assistance commitment, including the commitment by many developed countries to achieve the target 0.7% of ODA and GNI. To developing countries, 0.15 to 0.25% of GNI. To least developed countries, that is the OTA provider, are concerned to consider setting a target to provide 0.2 to 20% to least developed. Mobilize additional resources, especially finance, for developing countries from the multiple sources. It is also one of the biggest. Assisting developing countries in attending long-term debt sustainability through coordinated policies at fostering debt financing, debt relief, and debt restructuring as appropriate, and address the external debt of highly indebted poor countries to reduce state distress. Adopt and implement investment promotion flying for the least developed countries. Technology parts enhance North-South and triangular regional and international cooperation on and access to science, technology, and innovation, and enhance knowledge sharing on multiple and mutually agreed terms, including through the improved coordination among existing mechanisms, in particular at the United Nations level, and through a global technology felicitation mechanism by the self-sustainable organization. Promoting and development, transfer, dissemination, and diffusion of environmentally sound technology to developing country on the favorable terms, including on concessional and preferential terms as the ministry agreed. Fully operationalized technology bank and science technology innovation capacity building strategy for the least developed country is going to develop and enhance the use of mobilizing and enabling technology in the particular information and communication technology. We are supporting this mechanism through the Innovation Society of India, that is a one pan-India organization across India. Capacity building, enhance international support for the implementing effective and targeted capacity building in developing countries to support national plan to implement all sustainable development goals, including through north-south, south-south, and triangular cooperation. In the parts of trade, promoting universal, discriminatory trading system under the World Trade Organization, including through the conclusion of negotiation, and it's the Doha Development Agenda released by State Council. Significance, increase the export of developing country in the particular with view of doubling the least developed country share of the global export by this year. But due to COVID, we are unable to achieve the target laid by the capacity. Realize timely implementation of duty-free and quota-free markets, access on the lasting basis for the least developed country, consistent with the World Trade Organization decision, including by ensuring that the preferential rules of origin applicable to import from the least developed country are transferable and simple and contribute to the market. That is a systematic issue that the policy and institutional coherence enhance global microeconomics stability, including through the policy coordination and policy coherence. Enhance policy coherence for the sustainable development, respect each country policy, space, and leadership to establish and implement policy for the poverty eradication and sustainable development. Multi-stakeholder partnership, we are inviting to the Asia-Africa Development Council with this platform. Enhance the global partnership for the sustainable development, complemented by the multi-stakeholder partnership that mobilize and share knowledge, expertise, technology, and financial resources to support the achievement of the sustainable development goals in all countries, in particular developing countries. Encourage and promote effective public-private partnerships, civil society partnerships, building on the experience and resourcing strategy of the partnership to support UN Sustainable Agenda, Africa Development Agenda, and Uganda Development Agenda. We are just supporting and felicitating to the Asia Africa Development Council. Data monitoring and accountability is a very warm basis vital. By 20, enhance capacity building, support developing country, include for the less developed country and small island states like the Kingdom of Tonga, to increase significantly the availability of high quality, timely, and reliable data aggregated by income, gender, age, race, ethnicity, migratory status, disability, geographical location, and other characteristics relevant to the national context, as per the target fixed by the UN SDG 2030. Build on existing initiative to develop measurement of the progress on the sustainable development that complement gross domestic product and support strategic capacity in developing countries. So, in this platform, behalf of the Asia Africa Development Council and Council for Sustainable Development, Innovation Society of India, and our associated organizations like the International Association of Sports and ICT to promote digital sports worldwide. Professor Ripu Ranjan Sinha, I personally like to welcome all members, speakers, delegates, chief guests, and associates to just share your view for the 4th Asia Africa Development Summit under the basic theme of the United Nations Sustainable Agenda 2030, partnership for the goal. So just for today, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ripu Ranjan Sinha, sir, extraordinary speech on sustainable development goals and the need of the hours to be focused by the whole globe on this current scenario, and also on the special occasion, or I can say the challenges or the opportunities on COVID-19, which has opened many opportunities, also equivalent to the problems. So this is a crucial time which, as a united, we will get into reaching the United Nations goal to reaching the sustainable development. And wonderful speech for you, sir. Thanks for your excellent
Dr.
presentation.
Vijender Babu, one thing is that I like to interpret someone. Every has their own goal in a life. That's a theme. But what if planet come together to work towards the same one? With just like a eight world, rest world. Okay. This is the thinking behind the 17 global goals created by United Nations for a sustainable world by 2030. With the power to the poverty, the power to the end poverty, better equality, and paralytic global warming, the goals will build a more responsible, just and peaceful future for everyone. So, as a responsible citizen of the nation and responsible citizen of this earth, we must support the development goals, whether it be the issue that is closest to your heart or get involved in all 17 sustainable goals. So join us, Asia Africa Development Council, in spreading the word. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ripu Ranjan Sinha, sir. Thank you. I am pleasure in inviting one of our chief guests of today's event, specially invited speaker, Dr. Rania Lampo from Greece, global educator, STEM instructor, director of Education Affairs of Forum, 36 Peace and Unity Peace Education through STEM projects in Africa and India. I welcome Rania Lampo for her session. Session is yours, madam. Welcome.
Greetings from Greece to all participants. Thank you very much for your kind invitation to be a part of this so resourceful and meaningful event. My name is Rania Lambo. I'm a STEM instructor. I'm working currently at the Greek Ministry of Education at the Directorate of Educational Technology and Innovation, and I'm also director of Forum 36 Peace and Unity Organization. Today, we're going to explore the crucial role of peace education in the COVID and post-COVID era. And at the same time, the second part, I will show you some of my multi-award winning projects implemented in Africa and in Asia. May I share my presentation? Is it possible?
Yes, definitely.
Can you enable?
Just a second, just a minute. I'll just make the arrange. Ripu sir, can you please help me in making the presentation screen shareable to Rania? Ripu sir, am I audible?
Audible, sir.
Ripu sir, can you please hello? Just a moment, Rania. I'll just arrange.
I think you just make me host. This is the.
Yeah, I'm just.
Good afternoon, Dr. Kuldeep, sir. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, Ripu sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible, audible.
Ripu sir, sir.
Yeah, I'm
Can,
audible. Okay. Okay. Okay, Raina Thampu, you are the co-host, you may share. Okay.
hello, Rania.
Yes, can you
Yes, yes,
now?
your presentation is visible to us.
Okay. In
Yes.
2020, the COVID pandemic is the defining goal of global health crisis of our time, the greatest challenge we have ever faced since World War II. It has been the most disruptive infection outbreak of the 21st century. The tragic loss of life and deep economic disruption caused will permanently change society and economies. But the pandemic is much more than a health crisis. It's also an unprecedented socioeconomic crisis that has the potential to create devastating social, economic, and political effects that will leave deep and long-lasting scars. So COVID threatens peace-building gains. Therefore, commitment to sustaining peace is now more urgent than ever before. The 2020 pandemic has highlighted how interconnected, fragile, and complex the global socioeconomic system is. In a matter of weeks, global travel and trade systems collapsed, social norms changed radically, rights and liberties which had been taken for granted, such as the freedom of movement and association, were revoked, and social values were reorientated. It also became apparent that the world lacks an effective approach to deal with such crises. So observing this crisis and its impact through a human right lens puts a focus on how it is affecting people on the ground, particularly the most vulnerable among us, and what can be done about it and in the long term. So guaranteeing the human rights for everyone poses a challenge for every country around the world to be a different degree. Yet the impact of the crisis on these rights is real. Unemployment, food insecurity has risen to unprecedented levels in many countries within a very short space of time. Widespread closure of schools has interrupted the education of more than 1 billion children all around the world. Reduction of care and protection services for children, including abrupt closure of care institutions and health services for children, has increased children's vulnerability to violence, exploitation, and abuse. Strategies to contain the virus are difficult for those without good quality, safe housing, physical distance, self-isolation, and important where lack of access to clean water and sanitation is a fundamental issue. So COVID is sweeping through populous high-density settlements and to refugee migrant camps, where physical distancing is challenging, access to health services limited, and population especially vulnerable to disease. So the crisis raises particular concerns for the marginalized and most vulnerable in society. Marginalization creates vulnerability. This could raise tension, of course, and could provoke civil unrest. I personally believe that the COVID crisis could be a great resetter of economy, societies, and education, an opportunity to bring forward long-awaited reforms for development. The pandemic has created opportunities for peace also, can provide a pretext to adopt repressive measures for purposes related to the pandemic. The instability and fear that the pandemic engenders is exacerbating existing human rights concerns such as discrimination against groups, xenophobia, attacks, enforced returns of refugees and asylum seekers, mistreatment of migrants, and sexual and gender-based violence, as well as limited access to sexual and reproductive health and rights. So it is a time when more than ever human rights are needed to navigate this crisis in a way that allow us as soon as possible to focus again on achieving equitable, sustainable development and sustaining peace. The crisis exacerbated human rights, humanitarian crisis, and potentially aggravating unrest and conflict. In response, authorities In some countries, employed containment measures, including social isolation and business closures, resulting in a sharp economic downturn. So COVID has affected crises regardless of their levels of socioeconomic development, unlike other epidemics this century, which have mostly impacted countries with low to medium levels of positive peace. So it is important here to refer to the distinction between positive peace and negative peace. Negative peace refers to the absence of violence. When, for example, a ceasefire is enacted, a negative peace will ensue. It is negative, why? Because something undesirable stopped happening. For example, the violence stopped, the oppression ended. On the other hand, positive peace is filled with positive content such as restoration of relationships, the creation of social systems that serve the needs of the whole population, and the constructive resolution of conflict. Peace does not mean the total absence of any conflict. It means the absence of violence in all forms and the unfolding of conflict in a constructive way. Peace therefore exists when people are interacting non-violently and are managing their conflict positively with respectful attention to the legitimate needs and interests of all concerned. The pandemic shifts pattern of violence throughout the globe. While there has been a decline in some types of crimes, battle deaths and riots due to lockdown measures, other areas such as domestic violence, self-harm and suicide are likely to have increased. There have been reports of substantially higher usage of suicide and mental health helplines as a result of the pandemic and social isolation. Sometimes, some types of cybercrime may increase during the time of the pandemic, and as more people, especially those less skilled and inexperienced on the internet, look for information or go shopping online, cybercriminals have increasingly sought to take advantage of the unsuspecting people. They have created fake websites to collect fraudulent information from users, an activity known as phishing. So another danger is the drug trafficking and other types of crime have been a temporary reduction as a result of social isolation around the world. And the pandemic, of course, is impacting every country, but some countries face existing species security challenges that make the response even more difficult. Combined with existing instability, the pandemic poses a real threat to peace and security, can undermine peace-building gains and heighten conflict risks over time. Some countries have delicate peace processes that could be undermined by the crisis, especially if the international community is distracted. Some countries that have invested in protecting social rights are likely to be more resilient. Furthermore, countries that are most likely to recover quickly from the pandemic are those with strong performances in good relations with neighbors and sound business environment before the crisis. Therefore, the two factors that will assist countries in the post-pandemic recovery are high levels of positive peace. That means guaranteeing effective institutions, social cohesion, and transparency, representative governments, and favorable economic conditions before the pandemic. These were the first most heavily affected by COVID pandemic. In addition, well-functioning governments and high levels of human capital were influential in mitigating the effects of the pandemic. In 2008, we have the Global Peace Index. Global Peace Index is the world's leading measure of global peacefulness. This has also empirically developed the positive index, measures the attitudes, institutions, and structures that create and sustain peaceful societies. This provides guidance on the future peacefulness of countries, their resilience, in which in the COVID era is increasingly important, and long-term prospects for recovery. Most of the indicators of the Global Peace Index and the peace policies are likely to be, of course, impacted by the pandemic. Many countries where resources allow have taken targeted measures to mitigate the economic and social impact of the crisis on the most vulnerable. Some countries have temporarily granted residency rights to all migrants and asylum seekers in a regular situation to give them full access to the country's health care as the outbreak escalates. thereby reducing the risks for wider public health. Others have made all coronavirus treatment free to all. Measures have been adopted in some countries to protect vulnerable groups, including persons with disabilities, homeless people, and young people living in institutions. Other suspended arrests for illegal migrants. Here we can see an example of UNESCO which develops developing peacekeeping skills throughout the pandemic. Social media and online communication have become essential tools for maintaining social connections. People have been intently promoting positive narratives and engaging in peace-building activities during the crisis. So in April 2020, UNESCO launched the My COVID Story campaign to provide for young women and men around the world to share their views, experiences, and initiatives. COVID has given youth the opportunity to strengthen empathy, solidarity, and resilience skills to combat COVID-related hate speech and disinformation. All these testimonies show that building skills can be learned through lived experiences. The COVID pandemic, although it is full of obstacles, the hate speech, for example, targeting individuals perceived as ethnically Chinese or Asian. For example, we see here Zhong, a high school student from China, explains and says misleading, biased information and conspiracy theories have resulted in hatred and criticism. And another student, Kelly from China, who similarly describes hashtags people as murderers. COVID is undermining sustainable development goals in time, at a time in which efforts need to be accelerated to implement these goals of the agenda. Agenda by human rights provides a comprehensive blueprint for sustainable recovery from the pandemic. And at this point, education projects could be an effective way to promote sustainable development goals and positive peace. We are all in this together, so international solidarity is essential in the global response. So peace education within this framework is of education plays a crucial role in building defense of peace in the minds of people. It aims at the total development of the child. It tries to inculcate higher human social values in the mind of the child. In essence, it attempts to develop a set of behavioral skills necessary for peaceful living and peace building. Peace education is, of course, holistic. That embraces the physical, emotional, intellectual, and social growth of children within a framework deeply rooted in traditional human values. It is based on a philosophy that teaches love, compassion, trust for the human family and all life in our planet. Peace education is effective and meaningful when it is adopted according to the social and cultural, of course, context and the needs of a country. So it should be enriched by its cultural and spiritual values together with the universal human values. It also should be globally relevant. Peace education is also peace skills building. It empowers children to be creative and to adopt non-destructive ways to settle conflict and to live in harmony with themselves, others, and their world. Peace building is the task of every human being and the challenge of the human family. The relationship now between peace and sustainable development is important to achieve the objective of social cohesion and living together, and to move away from a culture of war and violence. The basic concepts are that peace education is a remedial measure to protect children from falling into ways of violence in society. And what matters is integrating peaceful attitudes, values, and skills into the teaching and learning process in school and make it a part of the total curriculum. So the respect for human dignity and human rights and the protection of the environment are the core values that need to be practiced to achieve peace and harmony and sustainable development through lifelong peace education. Through applying peace education and creating a peace future, it has been observed that schools can have the following benefits. Schools can develop a more humanistic management approach, improve standard of quality of teaching and learning, facilitate socialization through participation, interactive and cooperative learning activities, help healthy emotional development in students, develop creativity both in students and teachers, improve students' discipline and moral behavior, promote noble ideas such as kindness, friendship, generosity, etc. So educators, governments, decision policymakers need to incorporate peace education in all curricula and in the development of teaching and learning materials at the same time. Inclusion of peace values and activities will make the subjects more meaningful and interesting to learners in many ways. It increases the quality of teaching as well as learning. So here I want to see that I'm factor, as I said before, I'm trying to promote positive peace with my educational projects because positive peace is based on sustainable investment, stability, and high standard of living. My projects were addressed to African countries, etc., and to, of course, to other countries that suffer from all these advantages of negative peace, such as lack of water and food. I'm trying to alleviate this through education, so I'm trying to make negative peace look like more positive peace. And as our world becomes more interconnected, countries prioritizing STEM education and research will make significant advances in alleviating poverty and sustaining economic, cultural, and societal growth. It is vital for countries seeking to reduce their poverty levels to adopt new scientific research and technology. In doing so, these countries can improve their economy, healthcare system, and infrastructure. So undoubtedly here, the role of STEM, here I want to say that STEM is the acronym of science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And if we incorporate 8 arts in the acronym STEM, we obtain STEAM, which is at the time the most important tendency in education worldwide. So the role of STEM in developing countries is of significant importance, just as it is in our modern Western world. So I'm the founder of and the national coordinator of 4 the national projects. The first one we see here is called Water, Life, Given, and Threat. It aims at raising water awareness among children to teach them how to sanitize their water and to create opportunities for them to appeal to the benevolence of sponsors and private citizens, people in general who are willing to contribute financially to the creation of the appropriate infrastructure towards water. The project was taught originally to my students and children of refugees in remote areas of Greece, and soon it expanded to other several countries, especially in Africa. The project focuses on 4 out of 17 United Nations Development Goals: good health and being, clean water and sanitation, reduce inequalities, peace, justice, and strong institutions. This is the first time that STEM and water education are combined in a project, the originality of which is due to the fact that children are encouraged here to use only natural resources for their activities, since their poverty doesn't allow them to be able to afford school supplies. With very limited resources, children manage to create mind maps, timelines using only branches and stones. They also perform water experiments, dramatizations. They learn how to filter water. They compare water legends from several African countries. Together with some teachers of the program, we achieved to obtain donations, sanitation and filtering equipment, and furthermore, something very important, that 6 wells were drilled and constructed in an area of Malawi where children had to walk for 90 minutes to find water. I also raised donations of food, water, and juices from Greek language schools. We also raised money from a bazaar selling arts and craft models of wells made by my student. I, of course, donated approximately some amount of euros to African countries. And here I want to say that I'm also the founder of another the national project, which is implemented especially in India. It is called Food for Thought. It's addressed to students in countries where high levels of childhood is persist, and also to students affected by micronutrient, vitamin, and mineral deficiencies, often called hidden hunger. It focuses on 4 out of 17 sustainable goals. And its main goal is, of course, nutritional awareness, increased nutrition knowledge, and self-efficacy. The main thematic axis of the project is knowledge of healthy combinations of cheap and accessible foodstuffs that can keep the population nourished in case of shortage. This project inspired many teachers in India to actively contribute to the solution of the problem by visiting slums and educating poor families and donating the food and money and conducting surveys. And another project very recently is COVID life-changing experience. The project teaches students what coronavirus and how to protect themselves from it. This project, the result of this project, is that it contains social artistic activities because children have to create beautiful masks using everyday materials such as cardboard, and of course drawing pain and their emotions through art. By concluding, I want to say that our values must be a source of unity, not division. We must give people hope and a vision of what the future can hold. The human rights system helps us to meet the challenge, opportunities, and needs of the 21st century, to reconstruct relationships between people and leaders, and to achieve the global stability, solidarity, pluralism, and inclusion on which we all depend. We can transform hope into concrete action with real impact on people's life. Thank you very much. Do you have any question? I am at your disposal.
Marvelous presentation. Really marvelous presentation.
Excellent presentation, Rania. It is really what we expected from the international associations, that all of us are working in the same direction for providing sustainable peace across the globe. And you have rightly mentioned that the peace building has to be initiated right from the schooling, so that the students will get this peace in their mind established, instead of the war that has been put it up. So instead of making war as a business, peace building should be the primary activity that we all are focusing towards. Excellent presentation, Rania. All the best wishes for your future endeavors.
Dr. Rania, your presentation I want to sum it up. It was wonderful. I have few points which I noted out, starting from positive vibration, like positive peace. It is a wonderful word. Not only peace, it's a positive peace. We just kickstarted for more focusing on your presentation. Then about another factor called Global Peace Index, GPI. We talk about economic index and all poverty index and education index. It's a very need of the hour, like a prosperity, Global Peace Index. Then another thing about peace education in holistic, it also helps in skill education. Very need of the hour topic to be discussed. And you were said about generated funds to these needed people in crisis time. Food for thought. A real salute to you and your entire team. And at last, you had made the students to think about like making best out of waste, like making masks from the scraps. Really a wonderful presentation of your activities from Greece. We are being very happy on your presentation. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So by this, I think I can move to next speaker of today's session. I invite Dr. Chris Sotiarfos, Chief Executive Officer, the Emerging Innovation, to address on
Innovation Research for Industry and Infrastructure Development. Dr. Chris, the platform is yours. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to everyone. COVID has accelerated and embedded the use of digital technology. We are evidence of this, and many of us live on Zoom several times a day. COVID has led to a reset of the depth in local ecosystems and multi-stakeholder relationships. That means that we spend more time within our local communities as well. What does this mean for industry and infrastructure development? Well, there's two major elements that has resulted, and the Indian nation has picked up on this, as have other nations. The local talent, innovation, and entrepreneurship growth. Many countries have created positive policies which says within our community, we're going to focus on innovation, focus on manufacturing, rather than have it offshored in many parts of the world. This is a policy which we're seeing in India, we're seeing in parts of Europe, the US, even post-Trump, we will see a lot of that. In Australia, we're seeing that, and we will see in several countries. Then the second element is the international players. The international players will always be there. They are able to conduct major infrastructure projects and help being underpinning foundations in national industry creation. So what does this lead to when you have these two elements, the local, the post-COVID, and the international players? Well, it leads to localization of participation, project relevance, contribution, and ownership. So whereas previously you would have elements coming from different parts of the world, China, India, Australia, etc., now there's more of an emphasis for local contribution, local innovation, local competence creation. This leads to 4 elements. The tailoring of relevant solutions. So relevant is important because it means solutions for your local community. It's not just taking packages from the international players and not modifying it to a local context. Identifying relevant industry and infrastructure to develop. So what do you need to develop? In Australia, we're seeing a lot of emphasis on medical research, capability building for the next version of the pandemic. We know in some countries in Africa, such as Somalia, we're seeing the emphasis on peace building, on educating parliamentarians, moving to the one person, one vote model. We're seeing in Nigeria how we have to have local industry, local solutions for the underprivileged, as well as supporting major industries to grow, such as IT. What this allows through COVID and the digital world is a quick transport of ideas, structures, local context to other parts of the world. So for example, through this forum this evening, we've learned about Rania's initiatives, extremely critical, but also the underlying context, the underlying rationale, that can be transported, for example, in Australia to the Indigenous community, which have a lot of issues, which Rania's products will be able to help. This is a classic example of the emerging innovation post-COVID and the reset that is occurring. So there's also the adoption of the international expertise. We will always need international experts who know how to build freeways, airports, water systems. But this reset allows for the dovetailing of the internationals onto the local context. The fourth element here is localized learning necessarily, because that's the policy of the national interest, building of competence, and then the export of these learnings, competencies, products, and services. So we're in interesting times. So therefore, in conclusion, there are 2 big elements here. You've got that the reset is fostering. One is the building of an internal talent pool. And in India recently, we saw the new education policy, which is doing exactly that. It is saying we need to foster more learnings and competence growth locally. We will pick up learnings from the overseas markets, absolutely. But we want to make sure that at all times we improve our industry of education, our culture of entrepreneurship education, and hence growth locally. And it provides capacity building, which is a term I think we'll hear a lot about in the coming couple of years, because capacity building includes leveraging the learnings of what Rania spoke about a moment ago, as well as what capabilities and infrastructure you have locally. Then you've got the global players. They will always be there, but with this reset, there's more of a balance towards the local. However, acknowledging that the global players are still pivotal to growth of a nation and growth of a region. So you have, by building the internal talent pool, you serve both the local market as well as the ability to export the learnings, products and services internationally, as well as exporting them to the global players, because the global players will learn a lot from what occurs locally and the context and say, oh, we should be able to transport these learnings to different parts of the world. As well as that, the global players, let's not put them down because they have a very important role to play, but they will also be able to provide more tailored and relevant services to different regions. Given that we're talking about Asia and Africa in this conference, they can provide a more relevant basis for their activities. And we've seen this as well, where some of the Chinese investments in Africa have not, and Asia, have not developed and been utilized as expected. Whereas under the new reset, there will be more pressure to say, what is the local context? What is it that we need? What can the locals do? And marry the two. So I see COVID as delivering a platform for which many policies will be enacted, if not started already, to enable local industry and infrastructure development to occur more relevant to the local context. And not only that, but create an export market as these localized competencies develop and they are communicated or sold around the world. So that was my presentation, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Chris, on your scenario of industrial development and post-COVID era. And as we are aware that industry plays a major part in economic situations and revenue development, and about the country's holistic development and where with respect to global competitiveness. Wonderful presentation. If there is any questions to be discussed with Dr. Chris, you are welcome.
Yeah, very nice. See, Nidhi, first of all, your feeling, your confidence is very good. And you have chosen to be the first person to, you're the first person.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for a wonderful presentation. Next, I invite Dr. Shahid Yemen, Executive Chairman and Co-founder of Alchemy of Poverty Eradication. I welcome Dr. Shahid Yemen, sir. Welcome, sir. The platform is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody, distinguished speakers, and
saying that this is a test session.
The topic of my discussion is poverty eradication. Alchemy of Poverty Eradication is the title of my presentation. Poverty has been the focus of developmental work for a very long time. Yet poverty is not reducing in true sense of the word. There is some relief in poverty in some areas, but by and large, poverty is still increasing. And I have lived 12 years of my life in poverty with my parents. And even as a young child, I had a feeling that a human being should not earn a living by carrying human waste in a bucket for disposal. I saw them, they were untouchables. They were never allowed into a very ordinary cafe to get food, etc., etc., etc. In reality, poverty is a multi-dimensional concept. And what has been happening over the years is that there are many, many NGOs which have got very honest intention of doing the work that they are doing. There is no doubt about that. But the problem is that everybody do a piece and there is no synergy in actually making a change. So poverty by itself provokes strong emotions and lots of questions. Questions as to, is poverty about not having enough food to eat? Is poverty about not having enough resources? Is poverty about not having clean water? Is poverty about not having proper sanitation? And so on and so forth. It is a multi-dimensional concept, multifaceted concept, and requires concurrent action in all directions and a synergistic actions in all directions. It is somebody, one of the researchers described poverty very aptly. Poverty is a chronic and debilitating condition that results from multiple adverse synergistic risk factors that affects the mind, the body, and the soul. The mind and the body and the soul has not been really attacked by the interventions that has been made to eradicate poverty. They need to be done together. And that is one of the problems where poverty has not really, poverty eradication has not really made as significant a progress in spite of all the world attention and focus and investment on eradicating poverty. There are many different types of poverty, absolute or extreme poverty. There is a lot of concentration being given to absolute or extreme poverty. But what is not being realized is that removing extreme poverty does not remove the poverty from the generation that you produce as a family. And this is something which is very important because every child is a generation. You save a generation by saving one child and you put that child into the right path, you change one generation. Extreme poverty removing extreme poverty may give some relief, but it does not. It definitely does not save the generations. Generation gets involved in more and more and more poverty. Relative poverty is, of course, as it clearly states, that somebody can be poor as compared to others in terms of the economic, general economic status of that nation or that society. Situational poverty can come because of natural disasters. It can come because of war, for example. It can come because of so many other similar sort of reason, including pandemic. Because pandemic has affected certain groups of people. For example, in Pakistan, I come originally from Pakistan, and there are lots of people who are being affected because they can, and they have decided that there is no point in trying to take all the precautions, because if I don't work, my family starves. Generational poverty is the key, because the most important aspect of poverty is the generational poverty. You change the generation, you start to eradicate poverty from the world. And while there has been bits of investment, bits of attention being given to various aspects of generational poverty, but generational poverty is far more powerful than hunger. And it has got far bigger impact on the world, on the human existence, on the humanity, and so on. Urban poverty is where rural people move to urban areas to find employment. And in India, for example, when they cut off the transportation system, people started to walk 200 miles. In order, they said that if I have to die, I'll rather die in my village. So they started to move, and then government had to make some emergency provisions for them to be transported to their village because they have lost their job and so on and so forth. Rural poverty is also very important because it has a very different dimension to it. Because in countries like India and Pakistan, which has been colonized for 200 plus years by the British, what has happened is that we have created feudal lords within the society who are basically doing the dirty work for the colonial masters. India has been very, very good in that as soon as independence happened, they started to redistribute land so that there is no feudal lords, or the impact of feudal lords are greatly reduced. But rural poverty can happen because of changes of climate conditions, where your little patch of land did not produce enough agricultural products to sustain your family. It can happen because of social factors. And those social factors can also impact the poverty in the rural areas. Let me talk about the philosophy of alchemy of poverty eradication. What was the thinking behind it? My first point is that human potential is unlimited. And it is the human potential that has been rather ignored in the poverty equation. Because if one tries to focus on human potential and develop the human potential, then they start to create a social revolution, which can actually, in the medium term, reduce the poverty to a level that it is sustainable. Second thing is that destiny is by choice and not by chance. This is another, if you like, a shackle that has been provided to people in the rural, especially the small farmers and so on and so forth. When things go bad, a lot of religious preachers come and say that this is God's will, you should accept it. In the next world, you will get a better life. This takes the spirit away where human beings can find solutions to the problem they are facing. Social innovation of any type requires concurrent action on all dimensions. This has been proved by research, by science, that social innovation does not happen when you take piecemeal approach. Eradicating the poverty does not mean that the world will become an equal place. because it is absurd that everybody has equal amount of money, equal amount of resources, equal amount of everything. It is never going to happen, because that is against the human nature. Every human being likes to drive for better and better and better economic circumstances. But what it means is that every human being has a right, has a God-given right to make the best out of their potential. So envisage a world where every human being can use their best potential to go forward. To start with, there will be peace automatically. It will bring peace automatically. And Rania has been talking about peace, and she's very right, the aspect of positive peace. What we do is, when there is a problem, we take sides of that problem, different sides. Somebody support one side, somebody support the other, and both sides actually supply arms and ammunition to create the problem. Syria is a case in point. In the process, millions of people have become destitute. In the process, millions of children have become orphans. Millions of generations have been lost, or will not be able to use their human rights to get the best out of life that they can achieve using their potential. So my view is that if you want to eradicate poverty, you need to change the mindset of people who are in that circle of poverty, or in that trap of poverty. When I was living a poor life with my parents, what I remember very distinctly, that while things were very bad at that point in time, and mind you, when I say I lived a poor life, I mean, my parents protected me as best as they could with the resources that they could generate. My father used to work 3 jobs in a week in order to send me to a good school for education. And I am what I am because of their sacrifices at that point in time. But the thing is, I have always seen my parents actually hearty and laughing and at peace with themselves, because they knew that this is only a temporary phase and we can change that phase. And my father ended up as a CEO of a multinational company. He retired as a CEO of a multinational company. So from the very, because he was a migrant, he moved from India to Pakistan with absolutely no grassroots, except relations, of course, but otherwise no grassroots of network of contacts and things like that. So what I'm trying to put forward is that it is the mindset. When you keep on giving people aid of some sort or the other, you are actually making them less capable. But when they see that they can produce using their potential, and that aid is to give that training, that coaching, that nurturing that is required, and creating an ecosystem within these poor communities, then you can change their life, because they will start to make things happen. Charity is a good thing. And charity is about giving. But the biggest giving is when you can change a human life. That is the biggest giving. Giving money is not the biggest giving. No matter how big that money is. When you actually change human life is when charity really makes sense. The other thing is that most of the work that is being done is with a very fixed templates that says that, you know, we go to Malawi, we go to Somalia, we say this is the way you should learn. This is the way we teach, and this is the way you learn. We get them into a group of in a nice hall, give them good food, and give them training about whatever we are supposed to train, whether it is women empowerment, whether it is women sanitation, whether it is children's education, parenting, whatever, or family planning for that matter. A lot of money has been spent in creating family planning, but nobody has ever asked, how does husband and wife relate to each other in terms of family planning? Because a woman doesn't have the control. In 90% of these poor societies, woman doesn't have the control. As the control lies with the men, what they want, how many children they want, etc., etc. In a poor community, the man wants more and more children and they hope that most of those children are boys because they become supportive members of the economic cycle. So any amount of family planning training is not going to work. So my thinking is that it is important that you understand the ground realities. And to understand the ground realities, you need to address each family unit as a unit of humanity, of family, and how you can change their way of thinking, what are the problems that they are facing. You cannot come from a Western country and say that these are the contraceptives that you should take in order to reduce the number of children. They may understand at that time that this is okay, but actual fact is that when the culture, the way the relationships are formed between two human beings is the dominating factor that decides how many children they have. Let us talk about child labor. We go there and say, you know, children should not work before 14 years of age. This is what is applicable in Australia. But child labor has to be redefined in the context of the poor countries. Because it is true that if child is being used as a slave and works 18 hours, it is child labor that should be avoided. But if that child works for a few hours in their parents' farm to help the father, then it is actually a positive thing for that child, not a negative thing. So that is, these ground realities has to be understood. And for that reason, actually the people from that particular society, that particular country, should be the people who should be conducting all these interventions, because they have far better understanding of the underground realities of people. Let us talk about the value system that I'm proposing behind the alchemy of poverty eradication. We believe that it has to be not top-down approach, which is currently being used. Somebody comes from some other country and as part of the NGO comes and they may be expert in family planning, they may be expert in child rearing, they may be expert in parenting, whatever. but they come from a foreign country, from a foreign society. That's where they live, has been living for a long time. They come to a country and try to put a template to the people that this is the way you should treat your children. This is the way you should treat and nourish, nurture your children, etc., etc. Fact is, in Eastern societies, father is a patriarch. And children do not dispute things with their father as a matter of respect. This is our culture. Whether it is in India, in Pakistan, in Somalia, it is the same story. I have been living in Australia for 40 years. In Australia, after the age of 18, the child is no longer a child, is considered to be an adult. And is totally independent in their decision making. So what is required in Australia, when we came to Australia and our son was 3 years old, my wife and I sat down and talked about it. That in this country, father is no longer the place of wisdom after the age of 18. So wisdom has to be shared from a lot earlier stage. Communication has to be very open. Children can disagree. We used to have family meetings where there was a little bit of disagreement. We would have a family meeting and we say that in this meeting, you are allowed to say everything that you disagree with us. So that we can tell you why we say that and so on, and explain to you. And we come to a compromise solution. This is not true in India. This is not true in Pakistan. And this is not true in Somalia. So it is important to understand the ground reality. Dependence on anything. If somebody else actually does something for me all the time, ironing my clothes all the time or whatever, it actually reduces my ability to do that task. It actually reduces. And when somebody is sort of as part of the charity provides me food and so on and so forth, what it does is it reduces my self-esteem. And when your self-esteem is reduced, it creates a lifelong poverty mindset. And when you have a lifelong poverty mindset, no amount of resources can actually change that unless somebody actually intervene and actually change that poverty mindset, actually create that self-belief, actually create that new mindset of self-worth. And as I said before, that we value that we have to understand the family unit, how they operate. We live, I mean, you can live in India, your next door neighbor may have very different relationship with their wife, with their family, etc., etc. Because at the end of the day, we are same and we are different at the same time. And we like to train to reduce poverty. We want to apply social entrepreneurship framework. And that social entrepreneurship framework starts to train family units in setting up home-based micro businesses. We want to create profit-oriented cooperatives, which is owned by the community. Those cooperatives will actually market the products that is made in home-based business. And we want to create almost circular economy into that process. So bit by bit, when people start to do things on their own and try to improve their lives, their confidence and their human potential is unlimited. They can become anything they want to become. I do not believe that God has been so unjust that it will give somebody more brain and somebody less brain, and somebody less skills and they're less competent in anything they do, and somebody who are born with more competence and so on and so forth. I do not believe that, because we are humanity. We are, as a humanity, we are the same. What is important is that the world has to take a different approach to humanity. And instead of talking about poverty as an issue, instead of talking about violence and peace and so on, you cannot ever, ever, ever win peace with violence, no matter how you legitimize it. You can only win peace with love and understanding. I mean, Afghanistan is a case in point, Syria is a case in point, and so on and so forth. One can name many, many countries which are case in point. I take your side, somebody else take another side. We supply arms to both parties. They keep on killing each other, killing innocent people, and so on. And we keep on advocating about peace. Peace, again, is a multifaceted concept. And I'm really, really impressed with what Rania is doing. And there are many, many, many people like Rania who are doing a lot of work on the ground, because they understand the ground reality. They don't go there and say, this is the template which we are going to follow. They try to breed this drive, this mindset into those children to do self-help. The example of a mask from ordinary material is a case in point. I had worked on a project in one of the villages. We took cow dung, as you know, is a highly methane producing methane producing waste. And it has not only impact on the environment, but it has also impact on the society that one lives in. Back in India and Pakistan, cow dung is often used to create fuel. Once it is dried, it is used to create fuel. What we did was we created a furnace made out of mud and bricks, very, very unsophisticated furnace, which treated the cow dung and provide natural gas to at least 50 families.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful, sir.
This, and the beauty of that is the residue, the waste residue that was, that had to be discarded was actually highly nitrogenized fertilizer to be used in the villages. So zero waste, remove all the waste, and this is called appropriate technology. When we come from the West and try to solve problems in the East, we have this view that, high-tech technology we will bring in and everything will work. In India, there are solar lanterns, which allows children to read in areas where most likely electricity will take another 20 years to come because of the remoteness of that area. And this solar lantern charges in the sun and provides enough light for children to read and do their homework, they do schooling, etc., etc.
Sorry to
reducing smoke from the fuel allows that woman who is the caretaker of that household to live longer to start with. Reduces disabled children because she doesn't inhale carbon dioxide. Increase her health and her life cycle. One has to look at appropriate technology type things which can be adapted to different rural and remote environments in poorer countries and help them to change the society in a different way. My final point is that there is a need for creating what I call capacity center smart institute. Smart institute is not to create artificial intelligence and things like that and work on very high level ICT. No. Smart institute is to identify opportunities within villages, identify opportunities within the resources that they have got, and create something which can provide sanitation, which can provide waste management, which can provide little businesses, which can flourish, and so on and so forth. This is what needs to be done in order to accelerate poverty eradication. It will not happen in 5 years. It will not happen till even 2030. It's an ambitious goal, especially with the COVID, it is an ambitious goal to happen. But it will happen. It will start to accelerate. So this is my thoughts that I would like to share with you. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak. And it is really a privilege and an honor to speak to the distinguished gathering that we have got. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shahid Yaman, sir. We are being pleased to have more amount of takeaways, sir. Your session has given us significant points to note. Also, you had been linked your topics with Dr. Rania's peace education, and the significant takeaway which I had been impressed upon your presentation is about is generally you can say poverty is more serious than hunger. And you talked about rural poverty and about alchemy of poverty. As you talk about alchemy of poverty, like converting an ordinary into an extraordinary, it's like an catalyst work which makes the process quick. As we see that you as a catalyst here in his proposals and ideas, hope this poverty, the ratio should be very much to be diminished. And also you said a wonderful point that human potential is ultimate. It's an unconditional. Is unlimited. Sorry, it's unlimited, which is a very key takeaway from also positive point to look it over it. And also you said touched about the child labor and value system proposals, and at last at the end of the business opportunities too, not only about the issues and also about social entrepreneurship framework and the key proposals which were given as a significant point as in capacity centers as sanitation, waste management, business, and all those things. It all the wonderful key takeaways, sir. And the recent studies due to COVID also says that there is going to be a phenomenal increase in poverty from 2019 to 2020. In 2019, it was 650 million. It is going to increase in 2020 due to COVID-19. We hope all these your proposals and ideas should lead to a prosperous country and a healthy and holistic approach like we all grow. Thank you for a wonderful speech, sir.
Vijendra Babu, I just also wanted to add that Dr. Shahid has very rightly said out that the innovative idea of waste out of best. So he has very beautifully given the example of cow dung, how that cow dung can be utilized into energy produce centers. that is basically the waste. And this kind of innovation is required now and need of an hour for promoting and eradicating the poverty that is being the major issue that will come to the society after the post-COVID situation. Excellent speech, Dr. Shahid sir. Let's hope to bring this platform more fruitful with your speech. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I have devoted my rest of my life, whatever it is, to actually work on this. And actually, it is a passion for me now. I have been a professor for 40 years.
Yes.
Now it is a passion to actually change the lives of humanity. Whatever little I can do, I am not suggesting that I will create any miracles, but whatever little I can do and whatever constructive work I can do, that's what GOC is all about. Our global opportunities commercialization is all about. There is a common ethos between the three partners that we want to change humanity in all aspects in a positive way. Not in any particular religious way, not in any particular political way, in a simply positive way where each human being on this earth, when they come to the world, they find peace, they find harmony, and they find the human right to utilize their potential to its maximum benefit. That's all it is.
This is what, sir, we all are moving small steps, and our all together making a small steps will definitely going to make a giant step. With all our efforts, we are promoting the sustainability and peace across the globe. This is what we all are expecting and we all are promoting. Thank you, sir, for your excellent speech.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish.
And by the way, I will send you my slides. I didn't particularly wanted to bring it here because that would, but I'll send it to you. And if there is any question, there is an email address in it, and you can please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shahid Imam, and value-added points received from Dr. Ashish Swami. Next, we'll be moving to invite Dr. Azim Musa for his significant presentation. Welcome, Dr. Azim Musa. The platform is yours. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here with you today, and I wish I can, to do something new. Today, I'm going to talk about new technology, cloud of things. Cloud of things, include cloud computing, Internet of Things, blockchain, artificial intelligence. So, my suggestion, in this conference to universal adoption of this new technology, because this technology can fight, COVID-19 spreading in all the world, and also, for achieving the 17 SDG, also using, in a smart city, eco-city, a lot of, of advantages this new technology. So I'm looking, for universal adoption of this new technology in Asia and Africa and America to reduce the gap between Europe, America, and Africa. So, as the internet changed our life in the intervening years, cloud of things, we can continue to expect more, exciting change. And the launch of this new technology, will help a lot, with more intelligent, more efficiently, and also for developing country. So I think this new technology will help, in reaching or meeting the 17 SDG and 169, goals for, United Nations in 2030. So it's, will impact our lives, this new technology, and will, tackle the two main kind problem in healthcare and energy, help elderly and handicapped people, and hold the problems of fixing the millennium, all the human problems of poverty, diseases, violence, and poor leadership. At a time, when all the world are worrying about Zika virus, we can use wearable, device and could, prevent this Zika virus. Also, we can, compute the genome, of human being in less than 7 days. And we can compare, this genome with another genome, so we can, predict that someone will have a type of cancer, and can stop this, cancer. So I think, also can use it, this, new technology we have in, Parkinson diseases study. A lot, of application in health application, and, in military, and a lot of application can use new technology. Also in fighting, COVID-19. So, robots and artificial intelligence are used to find the infected cases. About the condition, you can write a report or deliver food and the medicine to patient, in hospital to prevent contact and communication. Also to prevent the spread of this, COVID-19 diseases. Also can use to sterilize the street and deliver medicine to hospital and the food to avoid infection. So a lot of, something useful in, fighting COVID-19. Also, you can use driverless car, aircraft to measure, temperature or fever, and to extent of wearing the mask, and to warn people you have to wear the mask. Also, use of drones to raise the awareness of danger of this COVID-19 and measure the temperature. A thermal survey of all individuals in the streets, temperature measurement and warning drones. A lot of, useful thing used also for, transport aircraft operating in the 5G technology to transport goods. So, China is the first country, to operate in this 5G, and they are looking now for 6G. So those and
the slides. We are not able to see the slides. Do you want to share the slides?
Hello?
Do you want to share the slides, sir? Do you want to share the slides, sir? We are not able to see any.
No, it's okay. I just
fine. Thank you.
Okay. Also, diagnostic session, for remote patient, for, plans and, ambulance without a driver to transport. So a lot, of useful things used, to fight this COVID-19. Also, we can use large data and cloud computing to limit the spread of this COVID-19 by tracking and controlling the affected people. A lot, also, we have like 3 colors for cellular phone, green, yellow, and red. So green, it means like freedom of movement. Yellow, it means you can, move in a certain places. And red, it's guarantee. You have to, to guarantee that because you are infected with this COVID-19. Also, that's why, I'm, suggest for universal adoption of this technology, in all countries in Africa, in Asia, and Europe, in all the country. Also, this new technology also, help a lot in reaching the 17 SDG and 169 goals. We try to build a better world, and this, world, connected world is a smart world, smart connectivity between people and things because of the Internet of Things, and between things and other things. So, we need to fix this, millennium, all the human problem in poverty, diseases, violence, and poor leadership. And this is why we use this new technology. So a lot of, we can use it in military application, we can use it in health application, we can use it in home application. Of useful thing, we can use this application also, for enhanced solution for smart city. So this, like we said, in healthcare, and also modern education will be improvement in the light of cloud computing and the Internet of Things. Also in 5G for, to solve the employment. A lot of, of employment can, also in aviation, it's called include reducing travel time for aviation and increase safety and passenger comfort. So, for example, a 20% increase in ICT investment will grow GDP of a country by 1%. So if this new technology opportunity does not knock, we build a door for this. It's, the only invisible cloud of things journey is the one you never been, use it. So a lot of things also, for life beyond COVID-19, because what's happening in COVID-19, a lot of frustration and, of anger in the family. The father, scares that maybe lose job or, something like that. And, also for the kids used to go to school in the morning and the evening go to the club, and, suddenly, stay at home. So we use this new technology, cloud of things, and also I suggest for emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence also can use a lot for this pandemic. So use also like for entrepreneurship, we can use this new technology to invest new technology and so for increase revenue and reduce cost. So a lot also in aviation. So in aviation also a lot of using this new technology, because a lot of like damage happens in a lot of losses for aviation. So we start from first industrial revolution, second, third, and then fourth industrial revolution, and also for the computer from BC to ubiquitous computing, and before they have mainframe computing. So we have a lot of technology. We have to use it for development for Asia and Africa. So there's also bad news for for airlines revenue losses and a lot of losses so we have to use this new technology to increase revenue and reduce cost. For example, IoT could eliminate waste up to $150 billion in industry, in aviation, healthcare, power. Potential of IoT saving about 1% across the global industry. Also, artificial intelligence in aviation will go up from 2017 to 2024 by 47%. Also, for operation, you can reduce error by 30% and increase efficiency by 30%. Also, up to 20% delay from turnaround solved by this new technology. Reduction 1% in foil can like save like $30 billion over 15 years. So I think this new technology will help a lot. 5G in USA, for example, will generate $500 billion and 3 million jobs. In 2035, 5G will generate $12 trillion global economy in USA in 2016. So we have to concentrate. For aviation, AI uses cases in aviation in passenger identification, in package screening, in dynamic pricing, in recommendation for engine. A lot of in loading fuel. A lot of useful thing use of this new technology. Also 5G robot. You can use it in the at the airport. You can use the 5G airport. Also 5G drones. You can use it also in the aviation and air. So how this new technology is changing airport? For let the passenger with cellular phone know everything about the flight, about the delay. You can contact the passenger with this new technology. So for airlines like American Airlines use this new technology, and a lot of Delta Airlines use artificial intelligence and IoT technology to increase revenue and reduce cost and fighting this COVID-19. So this is a solution. Also, for companies, for aviation company, use cloud of everything technology. For example, Russia, airlines use it, for a ticket, use blockchain, and also Jet Airlines use it, for stuff with a LED indicator to let the passenger know information, and also you can like install beacon in the airport to track passenger and know everything and let the passenger know everything. Also, you can for a maintenance, you can use it to increase maintenance, and also you can install a sensor network in all the airport to measure number of passengers and to get all the information. You can like install about 500 beacon in all the airport to get all the information. Also sometimes aviation company make like agreement with Rolls-Royce to know if the engine is full or something like that for safety of the passenger. So we are now in the new era of connected airlines and connected air. So all sectors include aviation must recognize and appreciate and get benefit of this new technology gift of the 21st century, like artificial intelligence, blockchain, digital currency, cloud of things, tactile internet, IoT, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, e-commerce, ubiquitous commerce, data and robotics of cloud of everything. So it's surprising that, sectors, like aviation has woke up about this new technology. So I recommend this technology for development of Africa, for Asia, and for the world.
Thank you, Dr. Azim Uzwa, for your speech on cloud inclusion IoT in sustainable development goals. Wonderful. You had been addressing on the disruptive technologies of the need of the hour, starting from IoT, blockchain technology, the current technology of artificial intelligence, and then about AR, VR, where it plays a major role in actually for education system too in this pandemic hours. And it was a wonderful, wonderful presentation. And with respect to IoT, and as you said about the trends in IoT and artificial, everything is getting to an holistic and collaborative, where in IoT we can see about the growth in data and devices with more human device interaction. Then about you talked about robotics, voice user interfaces, and the smart IoT, and about smart cities and connected devices and connected cars. It's all goes upon. So it gives about your next level of sustainable development of good towards for harmony and peaceful, sir. Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. We are being honored by you. So
excellent presentation, Dr. Asim, that you have made. How this infrastructure IoT will be utilized for the next level development. It is very excellent presentation that how this IoT, cloud, and all the 5G technologies will be now become the integral part of our life. As nowadays the technology has these technologies of virtual platform has become the integral part of our life. Now, the coming era that you have rightly mentioned, the 5G technologies, IoT devices, cloud computing is now becoming the need of an hour, and they all will become the integral part of not only the aviation industry, not only the infrastructure industry, but at the grassroots level also they will become the integral part. Excellent speech, Dr. Asim, and very honored to have these visions from your side. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ashish.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
Sir. And next, I proud to call Dr. Prakash Chandragiri, who is going to talk about the current scenario of online education, the Facebook live streaming in the pandemic situation, an alternative means for teaching in English in pandemic. I welcome Prakash Chandragiri for this today's event. Welcome, Prakash Chandragiri.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bijendra Babu. Thank you so much for welcoming me here. So, can I be your co-host and then I can present some slides?
All right. I think Dr. Ripu, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
You are audible.
It is done, sir. It is done. It is done. Wait for a moment.
So, thank you so much. I don't take much time. I'm Prakash Chandragiri from Nepal. I'm an English educator and a leader here in a school. I'm leading a school as a principal, come English teacher. And as we know that one of the sustainable development goal is the quality education as well. So in this presentation, I am doing presenting a research outcome or the how I did the Facebook live streaming for the home quarantine students. So through this presentation, so the applications of Facebook live streaming for teaching not only English but other subjects or areas, we can go through this in local context as well. So I don't take much time on here brainstorming. So while starting the words Facebook live streaming in 5 hours, what comes in your mind. So we can think of like some words in our mind, like an example from me, like events, enjoyment, so mobile applications, broadcasting, interruptions, disturbances, or it is the easy to use. So all of us, we have broadcasted live sessions in our life in different occasions or events. So what type of activities or event was it? So this is just a question so to brainstorm. In my area, in the pandemic situation, even now, teaching English language and reaching home quarantine students physically, it was very challenging job for us. So in my area, all the tourism sectors and education workers, most of them, they moved to the village sites and they were not in the city. And then I found the students staying home without learning anything because the government also, local authorities also didn't allow to go online because there is a digital division in the students, in the parents, and that's why local authorities and government didn't allow us to teach the officially in the schools and in different institutions here in Nepal, especially in Pokhara, in my city. And then I found out the students remained silent. I mean, they stayed without learning anything, just watching movies or something, or being at home. And then I identified that problem, and during the pandemic, even now is we are doing some online other Zoom meetings or Teams, but when I was intervening or doing these actions and interventions at that time, the students were not learning anything. And then I made some questions. How does Facebook Live help the students to learn English? The main target area to give them some ideas or learning English or some conversation skills, some language functions. How can I go or reach them? And how can I collect their experience on learning English through Facebook Live streaming? And what type of the strategy do they follow by watching the live streaming? And then I made some questions and to start the research. So overview of my study, it is an abstract, I can say. Facebook Live teaching and students' experience of learning English and live streaming in COVID-19, it reports that, and it is a participatory action research intervention technique I used, self-managed Facebook Live streaming, and I conducted semi-structured interviews with the students and the parents. And then intervention of my strategy on Facebook Live streaming was pre-recorded video and then my one live teaching, the combination of both. I went these three strategies to reach the students, those who were home quarantine, and they were not getting any online courses. And it reports on how students in the absence of physical classroom learned English on Facebook Live streaming, and how could they develop independent learning and improve their collaborative skills, even using the through online modality. And Facebook Live can complement physical classroom learning in this crisis and even in normal situation as well. And the students, parents' consistent support to their children's learning on live classes can help the students effectively learn English, not only English, but other subjects as well, other skills as well. So after my intervention on live streaming, and then other teachers, they started to go on live, and then they started to teach the students on different subjects. So it can be a crisis management tool for schools, specifically in the absence of the normal physical classrooms. So live stream classes can contribute to online courses, but it should be integrated for other practices and planning in education sector. So it was the context or background of all the schools and majority of the university in Nepal, they were locked down, and even now they are closed. Only few schools and universities are going to be started after some days here. So Tirvan University has been allowed to open other institutions now. And it was the context. Facebook one of the most popular social networking websites. So it is the top most popular social networking site in the world. So that has become a means of communication, information in Nepal. So everybody uses Facebook. Not everybody, I mean, majority of the people, they use Facebook, and they can learn easily Facebook. There is no any hoarding board in Pokhara like here is Facebook taught, or here is the lesson we teach about Facebook. It means easily anybody can learn and they can get that exposure on Facebook. And that's why Facebook live streaming is one of the way of reaching the students to give some educations and ideas. And an outline of my study, what I did is I prepared and I implemented, carried out some action. And then I collected the data and I made the report and the recommendation for further policy. And then who are they involved in my study? The students from class 4 to 7 and the parents of the respective students and myself. And then I made some research questions and I went to Facebook live streaming and I collected the ideas or their reflections, their feedback, and I took interviews and observation. I made the content for that, and then I prepared some soft copies. And then how long did I do that? I did 8 weeks. Because I did 8 weeks, we were not allowed to teach using Zooms, using Teams, and using other online modality by the local authorities here. Because there is a digital division. Most of the parents and students, they might not have the access of learning that. That's why government didn't allow. But they can see the recorded one, they can see the live without any cost. That's why I went through this Facebook live streaming to reach the students, those who are at home quarantine. And I made this procedures like action research. It was a participatory action research, planning, action, observation, and reflection. And I went through the cycling process of just the reflections and their feedback. And the 10 students, 10 parents, I selected on the basis of volunteer participation on online semi-structured interviews. I took the interviews through phone calls and the messenger because we were not able to call them or meet them on face-to-face. And then the data gather interviews and observation that I analyzed thematically, and they were transcribed and organized, and I interpret that descriptively and critically as well. And I read other journals and theses, and I searched other engines and the founders from other newspapers, other data collected, and they were intensively studied for this research and this intervention. And what I did is I asked my students to use the smart mobile set or PC for learning English through live streaming. I brought them in messenger groups for Zoom meet, and then allocated time every day at 12 p.m. and notified them to see live on my Facebook page and school official page. I went through these 2 pages. I encouraged them to be regular. I let my students and ask their parents to monitor in the Facebook pages because they might distract, they might sneak out others areas, they might play games online. So that's why I asked the parents to monitor in meeting online, and I called them to monitor them because some of the students, they might distract, and that's why. And I broadcast some English language functions, lessons, pre-recorded, my own live teachings, and the combination of both. And I went through this. Some of the students, they were learning in these all areas regularly. They did. And I used my PC and my mobile set in my room, in my very quiet place while going on live. So these were the intervention, my actions. And I observed my students' engagement, participations, and activities. And this was the school's Facebook page. And this was my one page. And then the students, I made the Facebook group, and then they were in learning, they were sharing each other. For example, I went on the live and the students, one of the students, he shared in his group. There was the group in the class, in the messenger. And then I myself also did the Facebook live. I presented the pre-recorded one. I presented others language functions items. So this observation really inspired me to go on live for 8 weeks until and unless the authority allow us to go on live, online learning modality in schools. And the key findings is learning new technology and new way of learning, and the development of independent skill and collaborative learning, because they were out of this, the connection with the teacher, but they were online. They could develop their own independent skill. They went to the live themselves, they share some ideas, they uploaded the videos, and they talked on the messenger group about the lives and the learning ideas collaboratively. And they started to search in the search engine like Google when they have something new and different, something they don't know, and they started to see the Google. And I asked them, you can now see in the Google, you can see on YouTube tutorial videos. And then they learned Facebook live streaming has become a new lens of learning. So these were the key findings of my research, of my findings. So some of the students, they have said that, so this is great. I am very happy to watch Facebook Live. I only used to go on Facebook Live for some events, but now I'm learning English language, speaking skill. I hope that you will be broadcasting every day. So this is the students saying, and I transcribed it. And the students, what they have said, that quoted, and I have listed out here. Similarly, independent skill. I'm learning some useful ideas in Facebook Live. Like I comment and share myself. I can upload, create pages. They learn to create pages. They go to live streaming themselves, and they talk with the friends and share idea using the messenger group. Because before that, in our context, they were not able to do that like that, because teacher is not allowed to them bring on different using mobiles or mall or computer assisted learning in our areas. So they learned in this research during this intervention. And then they started to have the good connection at home. Even the parents have said that they can see the lives and other online games and talk with the friends online themselves. They started to talk on the messenger. They started to talk on Zoom meetings, and they were excited each other. And if they have any confusion, and they started to see Google, and it really made them digital literate. So I can say that it's a new way of learning. They started to be equipped. So, and this is a discussion, and I don't have much content here. So teaching through Facebook live streaming received a diverse feedback from students and parents and provided a new approach to distance learning. So it can be a productive strategy for supported learning at home, particularly in crises like COVID-19 pandemic. So when teachers and students, they cannot be present in the physical classroom. The findings show that Facebook live streaming has served as an alternative and innovative online teaching tool for teaching English, not only English, but other subjects as well, because other teachers also started to go on live and teach them. They watch Facebook live streaming regularly, share what they saw on their pages, commented using English language functions, and they started to use the language functions. And digital exposure and increase student engagement on the internet, increase the level of satisfaction of online learning, which certainly supported for others further online learning. Now they feel very easy to be with me on online. They come in Zoom meetings and they come in the messenger group, and when I notify them and they come together with me, and they have exposure of learning through online. So now government has authorized or given the authority, allowed us to go online modality teaching, and we are raising the fees as well somehow. And that's the student, they easily equipped, got the digital exposure and their engagement after the 8 weeks Facebook live streaming. It is the case of my school. And moreover, the students could use different platforms like YouTube, Google's, and other devices, other mobiles and tablets and laptops for different purposes at home. And increasing of number of student independent participation and engagement, that indicated that most students were eager to learn English through Facebook live streaming. They started to learn pronunciation skill from the native speakers video. And increasing number of Facebook viewers indicated that live streaming has become a popular channel for teaching English in recent times. So this This intervention, this participatory action research, this my study shows that the Facebook Live streaming is one of the tools for giving or equipping the students, those who are marginalized, those who are out of the connections, they can see the recorded ones as well free of cost. They don't need to pay for it. They can learn easily. They can learn recorded one as well, so that students get opportunity for education and learning. And conclusion is Facebook Live streaming has been identified as an effective online tool for teaching and learning in COVID-19 pandemic situation. And the three studies I employed that broadcasting pre-recorded video and my own live teaching in the combination of both that supported basic school students, because my school is up to class 8 and I did this for 5 class to 8 class students. And from their home, they can learn, they could learn. Students could learn collaboratively and independently from home in the time of crisis. The study found both potential and challenge of Facebook Live teaching, which was conducted in the pandemic situation. So it provides the student more exposure of other source engines and online platforms, which help them develop independent skills for self-directed learning. So this is the conclusion. And Facebook Live streaming can be one of the tools to give one kind of the educations or the teaching learning activities to apply in our real life context free of cost. So this is one of my conclusion. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for this platform to me. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prakash Chandragiri, for your wonderful address on Facebook live streaming. How you utilize your students to address in current pandemic situation. Also, the key statistics says that Facebook live video stream surpassed the 2 billion mark in 2019 and is crossed more than 5 billion mark in 2020, and it generated over 3,000 years of video watch time every day. So we had appropriately used the exact platform in current scenario for making education to be delivered uninterruptedly in COVID pandemic areas also. I really appreciate your efforts in current situation. Thanks for your active involvement. Wonderful presentation, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Now I welcome our dear, lovable sir, Dr. Professor Kuldeep Charak, founder member of Innovation Society India, to address our event. Yes, sir, please, sir.
Sir, good evening. First of all, from India to all the members across the globe who are present here. This is in fact, Dr. Babu, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah, good. This is the first time since the inception of the Asia-Africa Development Council, which we started 4 years ago, where we are conducting this time the online kind of program. In fact, we had a lot of planning for this year to execute, to conduct a different kind of this annual summit. But unfortunately, because of this COVID-19 issue, which is spread across the globe, we are hamstrung, and the platform which we had never thought of to use for our Asia-Africa Development Council discussions and ICT summits or award ceremony, we had never thought of. But then we are into it now. It's a new learning, of course. The quick intake from my side, as a view from my side, is every situation makes people learn, and therefore COVID-19 also has two dimensions. As we know, each thing has its own pros and cons. So because of COVID-19, I can give you the insight. We at Asia Africa Development Council, I believe this must be almost 30th such program which we are conducting on the online program. Dr. Ripu will subscribe. Dr. Ripu, he'll subscribe to our idea. And the first such online event we conducted was it was, I think, on the 4th or 5th of April 2020. So those were the very initial days when the lockdown started getting enforced in different countries. And first enforced in India. And we had a quick discussion, Dr. Ripu and I. We thought of conducting such program because physical program was becoming very difficult. So how to go in for? So immediately we thought of conducting certain national and international conferences, workshops, discussions, debates, and the kind of thing. And as I said, this must be 30th plus program going on at this point of time. As I said again, we had a lot of plans to execute, but nevertheless, the efforts are going on around. And this time, I could see there are a lot of new faces, a lot of new people, a lot of new members who have joined across the globe at this platform, and they made their contributions. And our bigger objective of achieving those UN Charter points for 2030, and all the people across the globe, they are part of the entire thing. In fact, let me give you a quick insight. In fact, I'm not keeping well, but nonetheless, I still wish to give a lot of good wishes for the promotion and the execution of our this 4th year program, and my personal and collective wishes to Dr. Ripu, Dr. Ashish Swami, Dr. Vijender Babu, and our panelists who have joined across the globe. All my regards to all of them and best wishes. Hopefully, we'll be soon getting to the time when we'll be able to conduct our conferences in the physical environment, and we'll keep inviting our panelists from different countries to have physical interaction. Till then, all my best wishes to all of you. Thank you, Vijender Babu. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Professor.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And we are happy to say that he is the author of New Normal book in key situations of May and April, I think so, if I am right. He has released on April 2020. So he is the master of New Normal, which has been set the platform, which we have been running on over it. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Babu, let me also give you have spoken about my book. Almost the similar kind of book we have also published in Nigeria.
Oh, wonderful.
Almost, I mean, that has been, of course, we have added a lot of chapters from Nigeria and different African countries. So different perspectives have been incorporated in that book. Few more things have been added up. And the book is under publication there in Nigeria now.
Super, sir. Super.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Charak sir. Despite of you not feeling well and severely ill, you have spared such a wonderful time for this 4th Asia Africa Development Time. And without you, this event would not have become a reality, because you are one of the key pillar which is holding on the shoulders of which this council activities are being held up. So we all pray that your wishes will come true, and soon we will conduct these kind of events in the physical mode also.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wishes, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Ashish sir, and thank you, Ripu sir, on your words. Now I invite Mr. Abhishek Pandey for today's session. Yes, kindly unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, audible.
Okay. Thank you so much, organizers, for giving me this opportunity to share my insights in such a global platform. Appreciate slides, sir. Sir, can you give me actually this host disabled? Sir, I want to share my slides, sir. I think, can you please grant me the permission to share the slides?
Permission granted.
Just wait. Now you
Permission
can share
granted,
this.
just share.
Now you can share
Yeah,
your
sure.
slides.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Now, can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, in a moment I'll think so. It is getting shared. Yeah, it's getting.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, organizers, for giving me this opportunity to present my insight on a topic, agriculture resilience through deep learning technology. Myself, I will try to
start the screen share.
Okay, sir. I shared.
Slide view. No, screen has been shared. Just start the slide view presentation.
You mean to say projection mode?
Projection mode.
Okay, sir.
Press F.
Yeah, sure. Okay, now I hope it is.
Fine.
Yes, fine. It's perfect.
Myself, Abhishek Pandey. I am a research scholar at SCF University, Kanchipur, and my talk is agriculture resilience deep learning technology. As we all are aware, India is a particularly agriculture country, and but in particular in the time of this COVID pandemic, this ongoing health crisis has affected almost all walks of life. Indian agriculture sector has been facing several challenges because of COVID-19 restrictions. Outbreak of coronavirus in India and its consequent lockdown, unfortunately, also coincided the country most peak harvesting period. During this pandemic, Indian farmers face many problems in agriculture domains, such as a lack of irrigation infrastructure, market infrastructure, and transport infrastructure, etc. And in this study, we have discussed various problems faced by our farmers, and during especially in this lockdown period, and various steps that has been taken by our government of India in order to cope up this situation and provide facility to our farmers. And we also proposed a solution, a ecosystem which provides a digital infrastructure so that our farmer can monitor their growth of crop from remote through deep learning and IoT technology. And the ongoing health crisis, COVID-19, has affected almost all walks of life.
Yes, sir. Sir, you will be going to present next. So I will invite you for the presentation, and then you will take charge.
Of labor in and
after his
because of this countrywide lockdown, several disconnected logistics and in transportation. This caused lack of availability of laborers, interrupted trade market, unable sell of products because of this COVID lockdown. That leads delayed and postponement of agriculture production, and that caused the wastage of food, and ultimately it leads food insecurity and decline in income of the farmer, and that leads the social instability. Now, our government of India had provided several measures in order to cope this situation. Immediately after this nationwide lockdown, Finance Minister of India declared 1.7 trillion package, mostly to protect the vulnerable section, including farmers. And advance rupees of 2,000 rupees has been transferred to bank account of farmers. Various schemes government of India has taken. I want to show that. Agri infrastructure fund and formation of micro food enterprises, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, National Animal Disease Control Program. Several schemes government has taken in order to cope this situation, especially in this lockdown period. And we instead of these many these many steps government has taken, we have proposed a digital infrastructure. Farmer proposed a deep learning and IoT integrated farming, because the COVID-19 lockdown movement of farmers to their agriculture field has been restricted. The proposed system will help the farmer to work from their home, monitor their remotely. The deep learning and IoT integrated farming is completely automated wireless system, where we have several sensors installed in the agriculture land, which attach to the plants, with a sensor that continuously senses the environmental variable like dryness of soil, temperature sensors, pressure, soil fertility, pH concentration in soil, etc. And upload these data to IoT cloud provider. And the farmer what need to do is just need to connect with the cloud infrastructure, and he can see the growth of their crop, and they can monitor their agriculture land remotely. The major benefits of this system is that farmer can remotely monitor their environment variable with the use of interface provided by the cloud provider. Where the sensor will upload the sensory data to the cloud provider, and farmer can just log in and monitor their agriculture growth. And what the farmer can get the benefit with this digital infrastructure, he can see the crop related information, weather forecasting information, soil information, growth process monitoring, farmer data, experts consultation, etc. Now conclusion, despite of this COVID-19 challenge, the crisis has also shed a light on the weakness of Indian agriculture food system. And the agriculture industry is becoming increasingly reliant on data and digital ICT technology like IoT, machine learning, cloud adaptation is the need of this turbulent time of the world. With this, thank you so much, organizers, for giving me this opportunity, and these are the references that I have taken for my study. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek, for giving us the very deep insight about this agriculture and IoT and the various schemes that government has launched just after the pandemic situation. You have summarized it very well, and it's a good presentation. Keep it up. Now, moving ahead, now it's time to invite Dr. D. Vijendra Babu. He is a professor and vice principal in AVIT group of institutions, and he is one of the very dynamic leader who has very enthusiastically taken part in all kind of making this digital platform, making it as a one world. And he has conducted more than 40 presentations across the nation and international level, and he is one of the key pillar of making the utilization of this online platform. So I invite him to deliver his speech. Dr. Vijendra Babu, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Ashish Swami, sir. I will share the screen. I hope you can able to see the screen, sir.
Yes.
So is it visible, sir? Screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine, sir. Good evening to one and all present here. I sincerely place my thanks to Dr. Ripu Ranjan Sinha, Dr. Kuldeep, Dr. Ashish Swami for giving me opportunity to present my title in Asia Africa Development Council, 4th Asia Africa Development Council Summit 2020 on the title of Global Higher Education Practices, Glitches and Way Forward. So I am Dr. D. Vijendra Babu, Vice Principal and Professor, Arubada Video Institute of Technology, Chennai, Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation, deemed to be university. So the title which I have chosen from my profile area about global higher education practices, glitches and way forward, as the platform provides this significant development goal, I choose to take it. So as we all know, higher education is the current tertiary education. So we call as a higher education. What is the scenario of higher education? What are the problems it is facing now? And what are the opportunities are presenting now? That's all to be discussed now. Higher education, as we know, is a tertiary education leading to award of an academic degree. It's also called as a post-academic education or a third level or tertiary education. And it's a rapid growing system of education which needs to examine itself to see quality is being maintained. So in the quality, when you talk about the quality, it's by views by stakeholders on expected achievement. It's about institutional commitment to satisfy stakeholder expectation. It's about the institutional mandate and accountability of stakeholders. On a quality assurance basis, we have three pillars about access, quality, and relevance. And the various dimensions in quality of higher education, it's about the tangibles, and characteristics with competence, attitude, content, delivery, and reliability. and the characteristics which results to adequate and modern equipment facilities, ease of access, various parameters are discussed, and we'll be discussing about the key variables impacting the quality of university education. So it's about the institutional vision, mission, and the strategic goals planned by the university, and the governance and administration, the resources, which includes human, material, infrastructural, and financial, curriculum and academic programs, quality of teaching, learning, research, and about objectives of tuning programs and collaboratives, extensions activities and consultancies, and student admission, the major parameter, and instructional materials and equipment, assessment and examination. And next, we'll be discussing about the significant impact of COVID-19 on global higher education. So in the global higher education, due to pandemic situation, many students have dropped their opportunities or wishes to get into various countries to pursue the higher education. And those who are pursuing there also, now they have been tending to through online education. So the challenges to internationalization becomes a key factor here, and also affected impact on teaching. But the teaching has come across very actively, proactively reacted to it, utilizing online tools variously effectively, and the significant approach with respect to impact on research, like one-to-one activities in the universities or laboratories, that was a hindrance as how the industries got hindered. And about the societal mission of higher education, the global cooperation paramount, and about the actions of the International Association of Universities (IAU) to promote global operation. And due to it, there have been few possible outcomes also, like opportunities to grow as an unexpected and unusual driver of online education. You can see as to the previous presentations about Facebook live streaming. It's about using various platforms like Zoom, Microsoft Stream, WebEx, where GoToWebinar. So various chances of attending classes through various LMS, and also increase legitimacy of online education and challenges of online education. And we focus on with respect to short-term and long-term implications of the online shift and apprehensions and opportunities. And with respect to challenges, these are the place which plays a crucial role. Unsustainable cost of traditional methods of instruction, changing population, educational technologies, balancing the curriculum. As we know that the amount of portions are getting reduced, and the way of reaching them, it's the self-motivation plays a major role, and unbundling and rebundling, the arms race. Like every institution plays about their individual factor or significant factor as USP with respect to others. And then about the future education opportunities. In the current scenario, the problems are existing and how to overcome it. So the graph shows that it has been a recent survey which shows about the future higher education opportunities. And this is about the domestic territory education system. This is about the international student mobility and international student inbound. So this is about the parameters which describes about the opportunities existing. And this is about the democratic drivers, like from India, the amount of population, and from various countries. It varies from China, US, UK, and other shortlisted countries too. And with respect to the existing opportunities and what are the global engagements. So with respect to first category, which has been taken about international student mobility, and the current opportunities, it's about largest outbound mobile student flows by origin of 2009. And the future opportunity, it's about the largest outbound mobile flows by origin 2020. So there has been few positive attributes to be taken into consideration, like fastest growing outbound mobile students from next decade onwards, and utilization of online resources, and about international student mobility, the size and growth of domestic territory education system, the TNE, the academic international research collaboration. So now the collaboration with respect to various universities that plays a major role in it too. And it's about my presentation. I sincerely thank uh, for me to give me this opportunity to present about the global higher education practice, riches and way forward. Thanking you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Vijendra sir, for providing the very deep insight about the scenario of higher education in a very precise manner. You have very beautifully summarized that how the higher education has being affected, and how the impact of on the global pandemic situation has made an impact on this higher education scenario. It's really very wonderful and very precise information about the higher education scenario. Now, may I now invite once again, with the permission of Board of Management, I may request Dr. Vijendra Babu to provide the vote of thanks to mark this for the end of this event.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Ripu, sir, and thank you, Assistant Sami, and all the presenters today. So I am sincerely inbound to present my vote of thanks on behalf of Asian Africa Development Council of the 4th year of Asia Africa Development Council Summit 2020 uh, for this event. So there was some significant presentation from various countries from Egypt, Australia, Greece, Yemen, of various development activities, starting from Dr. Rihanna, who spoke about sincere thanks to all the members, Dr. Chris, Dr. Rihanna, Dr. Shahid Yemen, Dr. Azim Maun, and Dr. Prakash Nandagiri and Mr. Abhishek Pandey. And my sincere thanks to the office bearers of Asia Africa Development Summit 2020, who has made this for an wonderful opportunity to connect across the globe and exchanging of the current scenario of education. And also we have been key takeaways also existing about, like we have seen about the poverty in education, eradication of poverty in education, and key takeaways for development of the countries, and unanimously looking forward the development of the nation too. And this was a wonderful opportunity. I sincerely thank the whole office bearers of this association to take forward to this event. I wish to conclude my speech with respect to a quote on behalf of all of you. Without thanks, without saying thanks with the vote of thanks, it makes an immense pleasure. Like, watch your thoughts for they become words. Watch your words for they become actions. Watch your actions for they become habits. And watch your habits for they become character. And watch your character for it becomes your destiny. On this, I conclude my vote of thanks. Thanks for the opportunity given. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just to add on in your speech, I would give my special on behalf of the Board of Management of Asia Africa Development Council, managed by Council for Sustainable Peace and Development. On the behalf of the whole Board of Management, I would like to give the special thanks to our in absentia chief guest, Her Majesty Queen Nadia Harihari. She is personality who is doing the humanitarian activities all across the globe, and she is especially considered the sister of Africa. She has done a whole lot of activities. Many kind of activities are being conducted by Majesty Queen Nadia Harihari, and she is currently the world president of Elder Donor Neuron and the pro chancellor of Rockfield College of Management. She is doing all these humanitarian activities just to promote and provide the platform for the business leaders to improve and expand their network. As an so she is involved in all kind of humanitarian activities to promote the peace across the globe, especially for the African deprived countries. She believes in the actions, and she believes that the charity can only come from home. She from herself from her side has involved and promoted such many activities for the betterment of the global society and especially for the African countries. I give my special thanks on behalf of Asia Africa Development Council to our chief guest, Her Majesty Queen Nadia Harihari. Thanks for providing us this opportunity and this platform, wonderful platform to all the stakeholders who come across from the globe, from right from the Australia to Greece to Yemen to Egypt to France and all the across the globe. Thank you.
One special announcement from the Asia Africa Development Council. This presentation, this complete presentation will be submitted as a record to United Nations as well as our patron, Professor General James Banig, for the further proceeding. Thank you, Rena Lampu, Dr. Ashish Swami, Dr. Vijendra Babu, and other stakeholders who had joined us for the betterment of this entire fraternity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
With this, we mark the end of the event. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all the stakeholders from across the globe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Azim. Thank you, Dr. Rania.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Dr. Ashish Swami.
Thank you.
Dr. Ashish
Thank you. Thank you.